Okay,
Right.
well, man. So, first question.
Okay.
So, who are you, and what makes your opinions important?
I'm Eric Falstrault first, and I'm from Montreal. So I've been in the field for about more than 15 years as a trainer, but I started training myself around 12, and in martial arts maybe around 8. So I've trained mostly athletes and executives. So I've tried also to learn from the best. So it was like mostly guys from like Charles Poliquin, Paul Check, um, who else? A couple of guys from Montreal as well. So just to name a few, but I've been in the field for a while. I've been also teaching a lot of trainers as well, and that's about it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your 15 or so years, what are the biggest changes that you've noticed in the industry in that time?
I think it was more before it was more basic. Like I've learned from guys like Frank Zane. A lot of the whole old mentality guys. Okay, so like now we're seeing a trend into more science based and everything has to be proven, but everything started somewhere. So and they didn't have research at that time. So if we're waiting for every single science fact or before it has to be proven by science, I don't think we should be able to train now because everything is coming out like mostly every month. There's new stuff coming out. Everything is good, but I think it doesn't speak about experience. Also, research has proven to be like biased in some kind of way because the experiments could be conducted on certain subjects that are not that controlled for a type of environment that we're working in. So stress has a lot to do with it. So like there's now what I see mostly on basically on social media and on my blog is those who go by experience and mostly old school mentality and the new ones with the new studies and everything has to be proven like with supplements and everything else according to that.
Okay, okay,
So that's the trends I see the most. Yeah.
okay. So that might lead into my next question. Actually, I did originally put kind of, what do you think is the biggest problem you see in the industry at the moment? Well, I guess that might kind of lead into your last answer, I guess.
Yeah, I, it's to say that it's a problem because there's the new guys coming in. There's the old trainers that like experiences has teach them way more than any research has been given, anyways. But I think it has to do about like if you walk the walk, you should talk the talk anyways. There's also the functional movement that we don't see too much anymore, and that's a good thing because if you're always scared to be hurt while training, I don't think you should be training anyways because I think you have more chances of getting hurt in the gym than on your couch. That's for sure. But if you want to do something about your health or uh, try to get stronger, you need to put in some hours in the gym, and it's always going to happen that maybe you're going to get injured a bit or you go out of the movement, but you need to push yourself a bit more. So like people are trying to be more technique, try to show too much, but they forget about the basics, and that's now I think the biggest problem now.
Okay. So, say you were talking to like a new coach that was just starting out. I mean, what would you say are the most important basics that they need to get right for clients training and their own training as well?
Training wise,
Yeah.
uh, always start with the basic evaluation. Try to see if there is any structural balance problems, if there's any problem that need to be addressed at the beginning, so you don't get them injured in the long run, or their habits. That's one of the biggest problem I see now with my clientele, but with the trainers I get in interns, is trying to focus too much on the latest trends instead of trying to go with the basics at first. Start with something they can do, even though it's not um, their thoughts in training. Most guys, they're going to go in the gym, they're going to think that, okay, let's go, I'm going to kill myself at the beginning, so I'm going to lose fat fast, okay? So no matter if I don't get the evaluation done, whatever, but if everything goes well according to the plan at the beginning, they fix up a plan at the beginning as well. But as long as they go by stages, they start with the beginning and then they follow the steps after that. But they need to be well directed. Like they need to go in the right direction, but they need to be shown the right direction as well. So start with the basics. Like, don't go too crazy. Don't try to do too many crazy trainings, even though they want to have more, but maybe they're not ready to do more. So try not to give them what they want. Like, try to give them what they should do instead, and then coach them into going in that direction, in the best direction for their cases. Like, individualize mostly the trainings.
Okay. So my next question, something that I've noticed and talked to other coaches as well that I notice, is there tends to be, especially with new young coaches as well. I mean, I've only been doing it for 7 years, but say people have only been doing it maybe 1 or 2 years. There tends to be quite a lot of almost like separatism. So they'll pick a guru. And then just religiously kind of stick to that guru, and whatever they say they'll do, and kind of almost poo-poo anyone else's approach. So for example, you've got like, you know, when I was first started out, you had like the Paul Check guys, and then obviously Poliquin came along, so everybody Poliquin kind of disallowed the stuff that Check was saying and said, you know, it's not right. And then, you know, the next guy comes along, let's say CrossFit comes along, and then CrossFit says that Poliquin isn't right, and all that sort of stuff. How do you view that kind of separatism in coaching? And do you think that's the right way to go, or do you think that needs to change?
I think the sign of a great coach is that he's able to learn from everything and discard what he can't use. So don't bash CrossFit, because if you try to do it, you're maybe going to find something you're going to like. So maybe you don't like to do you don't like the way that Paul Check is going into the spiritual ways instead of going the other way, like any coach would go into strength training, whatever that would mean. But if you're able, for me, the sign of a good coach is he's able to learn from everything, and he could apply it to certain individuals. So if their goal is to do CrossFit, don't discard them. Like, try to make it better for them, or try to help them in that direction. You gotta like what you're doing. So if you want to train someone that freaks out over CrossFit and he's not able to go into a CrossFit gym because it's not maybe accessible or too expensive, try to reach both ways. Like, try to do your best to go that way, or suggest to him to go see someone else or something. But if they don't like something they're doing, they're not going to stick with it. So you got to make them have fun as well. It's not only a game of trying to show off what you know. It's not, your way is not better than the other way. You got to be able to learn from everything and then use it your own way after that. You got to just try to apply everything you've learned, as long as you're able to do it, not to everybody, but to certain goals that you are given by your clients.
Okay. Like that. Okay. So my next question then is, I mean, how do you see the industry changing and evolving perhaps in the next 10 years?
Hmm.
Mhm.
I think it's gonna even more. It's gonna lean towards even more gadgets, more machines. It's not gonna go back to the basics for sure. It's always a game of who finds the next big thing. And like for myself, I love CrossFit. Their principle, there's some stuff for sure I don't like, but what they're doing, how they periodize maybe the training and the let's say you need a weekend to get the CrossFit certification. I'm not really into that because like Olympic lifts, I still use one of the best trainers to show me techniques and I still don't master it. You can do that in a weekend. Okay, so that's why it's trends are gonna. I think there's always gonna be something better. I think now CrossFit has honed a lot of the training population into their dogma, but it's a good thing because you need to push a bit more, and that's what they're showing to everybody. So now the big game is CrossFit. The CrossFit Games, that's something good, and I think it's gonna get better for sure. They're gonna be able to periodize a bit more, maybe go into depth a bit more into depth with nutrition for the cross in the CrossFit field also, but everybody's gonna have their own way to do it. But besides that, I think it's going to be the same thing as who's going to get the better gadget, the better technique or something, the next big thing. We're all looking for that. It's always been like that. It's always going to be like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So a completely different style of question then.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some requests to start asking this sort of question. So in your coaching career so far, what has been the worst mistake that you've made?
That's good. I've done a couple for sure. In coaching, like there, okay, as a strength coach and the best strength in coaching, okay, uh, trying to do everything myself, not delegating. Okay, so I've honed a gym before, and like it went bad after a while. But I tried to do everything, but I didn't put my foot down. So I had business partners. Um, so basically, I got a bit screwed, but that's why I didn't put my foot down. So I tried to do everything, but when I should have maybe have to hire somebody to do accounting, do a bit more and try to stick with what I'm good at doing. So strength training, mostly taking care of the clientele, try to do as much as I can for the clients to get people in and what I like to do, not running a gym. That's a different thing. So, but in coaching, the biggest mistake with clients, let's say, would be, again, I've learned from that, trying to do too much at once. Trying to do, let's say, okay, somebody came in with type 2 diabetes, okay? So trying to put them into every kind of supplement possible, do the full diet, everything at once when they're not even able to eat 3 times a day. So that again goes back to stick with the basics. Start with the lifestyle first. Then you'll see you're always going to get results from that. Then after that, you try to incorporate a bit more changes, but maybe 1 or 2 things at once. That's it. Not everything. They're overwhelmed, so it's not going to happen. They're not going to come back. You're not going to get a good referral base. So it all comes down to that. So that's the biggest 2 mistakes I've done.
Okay, so don't spread yourself too thin business-wise, and then make sure you don't overwhelm your clients like that.
Keep it simple. Yeah, like Chris said,
Beautiful. Okay. So, following on from that, on the flip side, what has been your proudest moment as a coach so far?
when well, I've trained a couple of athletes, like training guys in MMA who went into a championship. He didn't win, but anyways, it was awesome just to be involved in that. And I trained a hockey player who got the Stanley Cup as well, so that got me my level 5 in PICP with Charles. So that was like the biggest two moments I've got. Like I felt great, awesome with that. And but most of the time, like training athletes is fine, but when you see people come in your office and then a month after they're completely changed, like there's no Stanley Cup who's gonna replace that. Like just to see them interact with other people, their family is telling me that they're completely changed. That's even bigger in my opinion. For me, it's that's the biggest pride I have in what I'm doing. That's why I love what I'm doing. Just to see them completely change in a matter of weeks, it's amazing to see that. Yeah, but it gives me like the boost to get up in the morning and come back in the office as soon as I can.
That's good. I like that. I like that. Okay, so what I want to ask you about as well is because I keep seeing posts about this and I'm curious. So just explain to us what the strength code is. I think it's a book that you're putting together and kind of what's driven you to write it as well.
The strength code started. It's basically what I've been doing for last few years, but it's how I teach people, how I get results from people without changing too much, keeping it simple. I try to do my best to help them in a lot of areas in their life, but it's based on what I've learned from martial arts. And also I've had one of my friends was mostly my sensei. We were supposed to go teach VIP protection agents in South Africa, and we had like a big project to go. So I had to learn everything into like VIP protection, close protection, anything that needed to be done by the agents, I had to do it. So that was like the best thing in my whole life I've done. But my job was to show them how to be able to be ready 24 hours a day. They could be called like any moment. So I had to make them into machines and to be all there all the time. So show them how to eat, show them how to train. That was my goal in the project. But my friend died from cancer, so the project went off. And that's where I decided to go basically to pursue my career into strength coaching. So that was 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
So since that time, it's everything I've learned from old masters with martial arts, with old warriors as well. And these guys, the agents, everything I've learned in that journey, it's everything I'm teaching now for my interns, for everybody I'm seeing. It's how to focus on the big rocks first. Okay, so let's say if you have a bad habit, what is we all like? It's impossible. We only have one. So it's like if you have 5 bad habits, I'm trying to show you how to identify the one that could influence all 5 at once. But it's something that you need to learn. That's why it's basically a big puzzle that I'm trying to clear out. So still, the book is not perfect, or it's not something that it's going to give you all the answers. You need to go on your own. But that's exactly the goal of the book, is to show you that you're able to do it. You're able to change your habits and it's everything we're learning into biosignature. There's the training part in there as well. There's how to change those habits, how to tweak them up into your own advantage. So it's very simple, quick, and easy to understand, but it's easily transferable to almost everybody. So if you're able to, if you have the guts to take action, I think everybody's going to be able to learn from that book.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when's the release date? Got a release date for that yet, or?
In December, if everything goes well. So 1st of December, but it depends. Like now it's in editing, so something could go wrong. But up until now, everything's fine. So date is set to December, I hope.
Okay, we'll look forward to checking that one out when it comes out. I'm curious about that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's going to lead you on to now is the last question.
Mm-hmm.
So a good man is remembered for who he was. A great man is remembered for what he did. So Eric, I ask you, what will be your legacy in the fitness industry?
I would like to be known as the no bullshit approach guy. Or like I was just with a client now, and he stopped for a while, but most of my clientele are big executives. Okay, so they don't like to be told bullshit, but they're not used to be told to their face. Okay, so I'm known for that kind of guy in Montreal, like where I'm working, and that's basically what I did with him last like 10 minutes before the interview. I gave him so much shit, but he stopped for a while, but he thought that he was training on his own. Everything was fine. He still trained, but didn't do his diet protocol as perfect as he should. So I did his body fat. He gained like 4% body fat. But I told him, okay, listen, genetics in your family is not, well, like there's a lot of problems. So don't do that. So I went on for about 15 minutes to give him shit and to tell him, like, I'm serious. I'm not doing this anymore. If you're not doing it, it's not worth it to come and train. And I won't have you as a client if I'm making you worse than you are now, because just training is going to make you worse if you're eating shit on the other side, because you're getting worse, you're not getting better. So anyway, so that's basically how I want to be remembered, is no bullshit, but I want to help everybody.
Okay.
I want to make a difference in everybody, make them, show them how easy it is, but show them as well that everybody can do it. It's just a matter of willpower and strength up there. So it's just trying to be the best you can be, and that's what I'm trying to teach everybody, is that they're able to do it no matter what, as long as they put their foot down and they're just like an hour away from their new life. And that's how I want to get remembered.
Beautiful. I like that.
Yep.
So that's the end of the questions. So obviously we'll all be keen to check out the strength code if all goes well and it comes out in December. So obviously thanks for your time.
Thanks,
much
Brian.
appreciated for that. So what I'll do is I'll edit it all up and I'll send you the link first of all. Make sure you're happy with it. And if you're happy with it, we'll set it live from there.
Can't wait to see it.
Beautiful.
See what's good after that. But thanks, man.
No worries, man. Thanks again for your time. Thanks, Eric.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Legend. Cheers, buddy.